मन का हो तो अच्छा, मन का ना हो तो और भी अच्छा. What you want in life happens, so it's good. If it doesn't happen, then even better. Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel, Astro Assurance. We have been talking about the retrograde planets. From some time we talked about Jupiter retrograde, then we also talked about Saturn retrograde, and now is the time that we are talking about Mercury's retrograde, whose effects are going to start from now onwards and are going to go up to at least the first week. Strong effects will go up to the first week of October. Now, I have seen some videos making it a huge big deal, Mercury going retrograde, this will happen in your life, that will happen in your life, blowing it up. So let me tell you, when these short duration retrograde moments or transits, for example for Mars or Mercury or Venus, because these are short duration moment transits, they act somewhere between 15-20 days to almost 1.5-2 months also, depending on whether the planet is direct or retrograde and so on. So accordingly, those effects will also be coming by to us. So the retrograde moments or the motions become important basis which is the planet which is transiting and going retrograde. And you need to take care about those retrograde moments or decisions regarding those planets, the planetary energies, the characteristics of the planet, which houses the planet rules in your houses, which houses it is placed, if it's in doshas, yogas, because those kinds of results will also be activated. But because they are only for a short duration of time, so to overthink, overanalyze and make it the biggest thing in life is not the right thing. If you are careful during those 15-20 days or 1.5 months, then it's more or less, it's easy to transfer through those transits, to transfer through those, that time duration, and it's not so difficult a thing to do it. The larger or longer duration transits, especially Rahu and Ketu or Jupiter and Saturn, become very, very important because then they have a larger impact, they have a stronger impact on life's various decisions. Similarly, for Mercury retrograde, Mercury is going to be retrograde only for a short duration of time. However, the important thing here is Mercury is getting retrograde in its own sign of Virgo. This I'm talking about Vedic astrology or Jyotish. And so, because Mercury is getting retrograde in its Mool Trikona sign of Virgo, where it gets exalted, but it's in retrograde motion, and Parashar says in one of the important shlokas in Brihad Parashara Hora Shastra that a exalted but retrograde planet gives the results of a debilitated planet. Now, the truth is somewhere in between. Does it give all tough results or debilitated results, or it may give you an opportunity of giving you good results, but there may also be a time where there may be some challenges which may also come by from the planet. So, it's important that we analyze and reanalyze certain decisions that we are going to take during the Mercury retrograde, but don't make it a life and death situation. For some ascendants, it may be a slightly more serious impact when Mercury goes retrograde. For some of them, it may be less. So, let's jump in and see and analyze for different ascendants, both from a Vedic astrology point of view, what is your rising sign, as well as from your moon sign, where Mercury is getting retrograde in which house, because both of them will bring in their own flavor to the impact in your life, to the impact of the decision that you make, and to the impact of the houses that Mercury rules and is getting retrograde in. Now, for Aries ascendant native, Mercury rules your 3rd house and Mercury rules your 6th house, which means communication is of the essence, and because the 3rd house is also the house of effort, your labor, your self-enterprise, your ability to influence, your ability to communicate, your ability to get people to act in a certain way, and Mercury also rules your 6th house. However, Mercury is transiting through your 6th house in a retrograde fashion. So your communication related to your work, your communication related to your service, your communication related to how you are dealing with your fellow colleagues or people working below you, those may get impacted. Also, if the work that you are putting in, you may need to reanalyze it, relook it before you submit. because the chances are, if you're submitting it without relooking, giving it one more last look, and you're submitting, then either there may be some challenges in the work you're not being able to submit it, or if you're uploading it, something going wrong there, or the communication being misunderstood, people misunderstanding it, finding fault in your communication, finding fault in your work, finding fault in your project as well. So ensure that you have a relook at, you reanalyze it and rethink whether you want to send that communication across, and also be careful how you deal with your fellow colleagues at work, because that may also have an impact on you in your later on, how you are able to get the gains from the project, from the work, because it could become an impediment to either your increments or also your movement up in your career. So this is a slightly tricky period, more for communication and service point of view, and also be careful what you eat, because Mercury is going retrograde in the 6th house, which is connected to your stomach, your visceral organs, your intestine. So watch what you eat, watch what you say, watch how you are dealing with your colleagues, watch how you are submitting your projects, what mails you are sending, what deals you are closing, because this is a time that you need to reanalyze it, be sure that you are doing the right thing before you take it forward. Now for Taurus ascendant natives, the two signs that Mercury rules is the 2nd house and your 5th house, and Mercury is getting retrograde in the 5th house in its own Mood Trikona sign, where in fact it gets exalted. So yeah, because for Taurus ascendant natives, Mercury rules the 2nd and the 5th house, so yeah, income, your ability to have a raise in income, your ability to ask for a raise in income, your ability to make a change in your career, which the 5th house represents, so that you can have a higher income, higher remuneration which may comes in, all gets affected, all gets impacted. So for some people, if you have been thinking about changing or making a change, this is the right time for you to think that should you make a move, or is this the right time for you to make, or if you have already contemplated that I need to make a move, rethink of where you are applying, how you are applying, where you want to work, how you want to work before you apply for a job, because the 5th house is the 8th house to the 10th house, so that is getting activated stronger than your 2nd house. But because the 5th house is getting impacted or getting activated, which means career change is also getting impacted, 2nd house of income is also getting impacted, so you need to be careful of what is the next step that you are taking, or it could in fact be a right time if you are thinking and if you have reached a conclusion that yes, I need to make a change, so it may be a time to rethink about that and in fact going ahead and taking the next steps towards making a career change after the Mercury retrograde is over. Secondly, because the 5th house is also the house of all that you like, all that you love, it's not only the house of love and romance, but all those things or all those people who you love. So there could be a tip or some miscommunication about you with some loved one, with some relative, with a friend, or with your partner also. So be little careful what you say, because this could be held against you for a long period of time. So be little careful what you say, how you treat people, because people may remember how you treated them over a period of time. So be little careful of how you treat your loved ones, how you treat career changes, how you look at remuneration, asking for a rise, asking for a hike, and be careful of how you treat your extended family also. Some issues about the extended family may also come to notice. There may be somebody in the family who wants your attention, who wants your help, or who needs to be visited as well. For Gemini ascendant natives, Mercury rules the 1st house and the 4th house, and Mercury is getting retrograde in the 4th house in a smooth Trikona sign. So events about the home, repairs of home, connected to some appliances at home or your vehicles, something of that can be triggered. Some of you may want to make some changes at home, clean up the home, or maybe change the home, invest in a home, or something will come up because of which you have to put your attention to home or matters of the home, repairs, changing, buying something, something which requires maybe some home decor, or you may think that should I do this, or if you have not done so far, now is the time for you to relook at your house before something breaks down. Maybe you need servicing, your car needs servicing, or your house needs some repair work which you have been ignoring. That may suddenly become a bigger issue, and then it may force you to relook at home affairs. For those people who are trying to settle down in a domestic life, because the 4th house is also the house of domestic life and marrying and settling into a relationship or thinking about it, this is the time for you to reanalyze, revisit that decision. And if you have been putting it off, then taking it forward. But after the Mercury retrograde is over, this is the right time to also rethink on life's decisions about settling down, establishing a domestic home, or even buying a home, buying an asset as well. Take care of your family, spend more time with your family, because there could be something about family which may also come up. And also, this is an important time to relook at life decisions, because Mercury also rules your Lagna. So relook at how your life has been traversing so far. Have you taken the right decision? Are you moving on the right path? And also be more clear in your decision making, because sometimes Gemini ascendant native sometimes are not so clear on what they want to do, where they want to take the decision, how they want to move in their life, what are the goals. So this is a time to rethink, be very, very clear, and then to move forward. For Cancer ascendant natives, Mercury rules your 12th house through the Gemini sign, and Mercury rules your 3rd house from the Virgo sign, and Mercury is now transiting through your 3rd house. So your hard work, your actions, your communications, your ability to influence people is strongly activated, and your 12th house of waste and excess is also activated, which means some of your effort may go to waste. You may have to redo things. For example, I am a Cancer ascendant native and I wanted to apply, I wanted to buy some things online, and I went ahead and I bought some stuff only last night, and within minutes I realized that the address which had where the things are going to be parcel at was my old address. So I waited because it was very late last night, so I called them up early morning. The moment their call center was on, I told them, see, these are being shipped to my last address, my old address. I want them to be shipped to my new address. They said, sir, I'm sorry, we can't do that. You'll have to go back, cancel that order, and then rebook them on your new address, because some of them are already being in the process of being shipped. I said, only last night 1 a.m. I bought them online, and it's just 10 o'clock in the morning. They said, sorry sir, but this is it's already in process. So I had to go back, cancel that order, re-buy some of the stuff. Some of the stuff was already like not in stock, so my bad. But this small thing, very, very small thing of just checking whether the address was right or not, make somebody go back and redo the things. So sometimes you think astrology is on top of the game. No, it doesn't. Even certain things happen to us which we don't have control on, our karma, right? So you may have to redo certain things, you may have to revisit certain things, you may have to do things again if you're not very careful. So be a little careful of what you're doing. Also, because the 3rd house is also of self-enterprise, so those people who are working out of home, those people who are doing something on the social media, those people who are consultants, who are teachers, who are guides, and having their own business, be a little careful of what deals which you make, how you're communicating, what decisions you're taking forward. If you're launching some new thing, if you're launching a new website, or if you're launching your work now, wait till the Mercury retrograde is over, or double check, and only if you're sure, then take it forward. Your influencing skills, your communication skills may also not be very clear. You may need to rethink about, or be very careful of what mails you are sending, because they can be misconstrued, they can be misunderstood as well. For Leo ascendant natives, Mercury rules your 2nd house and Mercury rules your 11th house, and Mercury is right now transiting through your 2nd house. So some wishes and desires, some aspirations connected to increment, wanting a higher remuneration, wanting a higher livelihood, wanting higher earnings may also get activated. So either it will make you rethink on, are you on the right track? Are you doing the right thing? Are you on the right trajectory from a work perspective, from the money perspective may also get activated. And if you have been thinking that this is the time when I'm going to get a higher increment, I'm going to get a raise, or I'm going to join a large organization, those things you may have to rethink, because Mercury is going retrograde. Mercury goes retrograde for a reason. It gives you a chance to rethink of what you are doing presently, what you want to do in the future, what actions you want to take, so that those actions get impacted, those houses get impacted, those areas of life get impacted. So be very careful of how, if you have some dealings with colleagues at work, especially if you're working in a large organization, working for a large cause, or what you do with friends or so-called friends, also be careful what decisions you're taking. If you're thinking of doing something with your friends, going out or doing some work with them, doing some projects with them, or calling them over, something like that, this may need recommunication. Also, this may need replanning. this may also make some of you rework out how you're going to do that also, because this is the time Mercury has given you the chance to rethink about that, or you may have to redo that. Secondly, because Mercury also rules the 11th house of wishes and desires and transiting through the second house of income, which means if you think that you need to change your work, especially working for large organizations, then this is the time for you to think, analyze before you take a decision. Don't jump into that decision, but if you put it off for a long period of time, Mercury is giving these 20-25 days to think and then act upon it and maybe take the decision further as well. For Virgo ascendant natives, Mercury rules both your 10th house and your Lagna. And for Virgo ascendant natives, because Mercury gets exalted in the Lagna itself, and because Mercury is gone retrograde in the Lagna, Parashar, as you know, has said that if a planet is exalted but it is also retrograde, give the challenges of a debilitated planet. So the situation may not be very serious, but you may turn it out to make it serious because of the wrong choices you make, wrong decisions you have made. Mercury retrograde is a time when you need to rethink on so far what you have done in life, because Lagna is about your entire life. And what have you done so far in life? Are you on the right trajectory in terms of your health? Are you in terms of right direction in terms of your work, where you are working, with whom you are working, the country that you are working, the organization that you are working, and whether you are with the right person, whether you have made some wrong choices in terms of your relationship. So it's in terms of your goals, for example. So all these things, Mercury is giving you a chance to reanalyze, because from now on, Mercury is not going to come back to your Lagna for many years. So if you make any wrong choices now, and if you don't correct them, if you have made some wrong choices in the last few months, it is the time for you to correct them and take them forward and analyze your choices so far. So Mercury, especially going through your Lagna, is telling you that, okay, hang on, hold on, are you doing the right thing? Whatever choices you have made in the last 3, 4, 5 months, have you made all the right choices? Are you going on a wrong trajectory which may change your life, change the trajectory of your life also so far? So rethink about that. Especially connected to work, there may be some miscommunication connected to work, there may be misunderstanding, some of your work may not be appreciated, some of your work may also go south, there may be some flaring up at your work also. Be so very careful how you deal with your supervisors, how you deal with your teammates, because those actions can come about, and if one time those actions set into motion, it will take a long time before you are able to bring the relationship back on an even keel and get normalcy at work also. So take care of your health, take care of your decisions that you have made. Be very careful of what decision that you have made so far. Reanalyze your decision and then take them forward, because this is the right time for you to reanalyze, change the course of your life itself, because Mercury is transiting through your Lagna. For Libra ascendant natives, Mercury rules the 9th house and the 12th house, and is right now transiting through your 12th house in retrograde fashion. So your 9th house of high education, high qualification, learning from your experiences of life is also getting activated, and your 12th house of waste and excess foreign lands is also getting activated. Which means if some of you have been thinking of applying to foreign universities, going to foreign universities, or going abroad, or applying for a job abroad, or even traveling abroad, so those plans may have to be rethought, reanalyzed, and if you have to send some communication, be careful what communication you are making, because the communication may be faulty or it could also be misunderstood. Some of your plans to either go abroad or even to apply for some qualification within your country, or to learn from the mistakes of your life so far, is also an important thing. It's not only about higher education but also learning from your experiences. So for Libra ascendant natives, because Mercury is going to the 12th house, so Mercury is giving you a chance to reanalyze your decision making. If not, the gains which the 9th house brings to you may also get into stagnation. You may have to redo them, and some of the losses you have brought upon you by yourself has been because of you not learning the lessons of life. Because Libra is about relations, Libra is about balance, so Mercury is telling you, are you sure you are more balanced in your relationship, balance at work, and balance for yourself also, because it's the time for you to rethink about what you have got so far from your work, from your relationship, and have you learned from the experiences that life has put you through. Otherwise, there could be a chance that you will continue to make the same mistakes, continue to make the same losses, and continue to redo those things over and over again. without moving in the right direction, without moving towards gains that the 9th house should be bringing to you. For Scorpio ascendant natives, Mercury rules your 8th house and your 11th house, and Mercury is gone retrograde in your 11th house of wishes and desires, friends, working for large organization, also your social connections. And because Mercury also rules your 8th house, so there could be a challenges coming in terms of your ability to work in large causes, large organization, ability to work with colleagues, ability to be able to have good relations with friends. There could be a challenge connected to work. There could be a challenge or miscommunication connected to your friend circle, or in your social network. Or you may have started certain things in motion which are stagnant, which are not moving forward. There are projects which you have submitted, there is work that you have submitted which is not getting you the fruits of the labor that you have put in. So Mercury retrograde is giving you a chance to rethink on whether the way you work, the manner in which you work, the manner in which you deal with colleagues, is this the right way, is this the right manner in which you work, and is this the right way that you deal with people. Secondly, if you have been working in a large organization and you're not moving up, nothing is happening, your increments are not coming in, your growth is not coming in, then it is giving you a chance to rethink, are you in the right organization, are you in the right department, do you have the support of your colleagues, your bosses to be able to move forward. If you're not moving forward, it's the right time for you to rethink of what you need to do henceforth. But because Mercury is retrograde, it is not only giving you a chance to rethink, but also reanalyze your actions from now on. Because so far, whatever you have done, some of those actions may have gone through a lot of obstacles, challenges, problems on the 8th house. And many times, suddenly, you expect something to happen and they may not happen. So this is a time where also some sudden notice may come, some sudden communication may come, suddenly you need to divert your attention somewhere else also. And there may also be some miscommunication with friends also. Some of your wishes and desires which have been put off or not coming true, they may suddenly come by and may surprise you also. Some good thing may also come by your way. For Sagittarius ascendant natives, Mercury rules the 7th house of your relationship, your connections with other people on a day-to-day basis, and the 10th house of career, your work, your karma. And because Mercury is gone retrograde into your 10th house, but also ruling your 7th house, so your relations with your bosses, with your colleagues, with your customers, with your clients, those are all getting activated, which is Mercury retrograde is telling you, reanalyze how you work with people, reanalyze how your equation is with the bosses and your rapport with bosses. Because otherwise, what will happen if your relations are not good, you don't have the good rapport, then in spite of your best of efforts, in spite of you even sacrificing, in spite of all you trying to do more also, keep the balance more towards your colleague, in spite of keeping the balance more towards your supervisors, your bosses, to the organization, yet you may not have got the fruits of your labor so far. So Mercury retrograde is giving you a chance to reanalyze. Are you working with the right people? Are you working in the right department? Are you having the right equation, right relationship with your colleagues, especially with your superiors and your bosses? And are you working in the right organization? Secondly, there could be a connection which ignites at work. There could be some misunderstanding with a colleague, or there could be a romance which also gets ignited at work. Or if you are already in a relationship or in dating somebody at work, be careful because that may go south because of miscommunication or a runoff with some other colleague as well. So be careful how you communicate with people, how you work with people, what your rapport with your colleagues and bosses, and rethink about whether you're moving in the right direction, whether you're in the right department, whether you're in the right organization as well. Keep a tab on your relationship. Try and give more time to your spouse, to your partner, because if you're too busy in your work, Mercury retrograde is telling you that this is the time for you to rethink that you have been too busy at work, not given attention to your loved one. Give some time, spend time with them, because Mercury retrograde is telling this is the time when you need to relook at that part also of life, which you may have ignored so far. For Capricorn ascendant natives, Mercury rules your 6th house of service and also your 9th house of the gains, foreign travel, long distance travel, education, and also your faith and belief. And because Mercury rules the 6th house of your service and now retrograding from that in the 9th house of gains, which means in your service, some gains may have stagnated, which means you need to rethink, reanalyze, and have a more holistic view and rethink on a larger level, maybe at a 70,000 feet level. Have you been in the right direction and have you utilized your educational qualification well so far? So Mercury is making you rethink that have you not only used your education qualification, or this is the time for you to add some more qualifications, add more certification, so that your career can also go forward. You may also get more gains in your career. Second, in your service, are you missing the point? Are you missing some of the experiences that you have gone through and not learning from them, because of which the gains have stagnated, the gains are not coming in, you are not able to get gains from the service, gains which the 9th house represents and the service which the 6th house represents. Secondly, there could be somebody who is always working behind your back, stopping your gains. So Mercury is telling you, stop, relook at the people who you may be trusting, who you work with. Maybe you need to improve your relations with them, because some of them are not on your side, some of them are becoming an impediment to your growth. Rethink about how you work with them, reanalyze your relationship with them, so that your gains can move forward. And rethink wherever you're working, is this the right place for you to work, or you need to relook at how you work, the way you work, and with whom you work. For some of you, it's a good time to plan to go abroad, plan to move to foreign lands also, and try and also learn in your current qualification, moving it up, doing some certification, so that it moves you easier towards foreign lands also, and you make more gains from that. For Aquarius ascendant natives, Mercury rules the 5th house and the 8th house, and Mercury is right now transiting through your 8th house. So for Aquarius ascendant native, this is a good time for you to analyze in your romantic relationship how you have been doing so far. Is it stagnated? Have you hit a roadblock? Are you facing more challenges, issues, problems every now and then? So you need to relook at that. If in your career, because the 5th house is the 8th house to the 10th house, so in your career it is making you rethink, reanalyze, especially if you feel you have stagnated, because the 8th house is strongly activated and Mercury is retrograde there, that if you are not moving up, if you find too many obstacles in your career, in your job, in your remuneration, in your growth, then you need to rethink whether you are in the right organization, should you be able to move. The other thing is, it's also about your investment. Have your investment been able to give you the fruits so far? Do you need to really look at a long-term investment plan, a more spread out investment risk also, and you need to rethink, especially if you have gone into some shared property, shared investments, are they giving you the fruits of the return that you should get? And maybe it's time for you to maybe put some investments away only in your name also. You need to rethink that. Mercury is giving you a chance to reanalyze that. So reanalyze your romantic relations, reanalyze your investments, reanalyze the career that you are in, whether you need to move forward, whether you need to make a change. This is the right time. If you have been contemplating a change, then Mercury retrograde is telling, be absolutely sure before you make the move. If you are thinking of either breaking up in your current relationship or taking it forward, Mercury retrograde is a chance to reanalyze and be absolutely sure whether you make the move and go forward, so that the obstacles, the challenges which may come by in the forward, you are able to see them, you are able to work through them, and then work it toward your advantage rather than your disadvantage. For Pisces ascendant natives, Mercury rules both your 4th house and your 7th house of your domestic life and your relationship. So because Mercury is retrograding in the 7th house of your relationship, so it is a reminder, it's a wake-up call for you, that have you been giving enough time to your domestic life, especially if you're married, especially if you're a family man or woman, and have you been also focusing on your relationship, or you have been ignoring the relationship, you have been ignoring your partner, you have not been giving enough time, attention to your partner, because of which your domestic life may suffer, because of which the peace, the love, the harmony in your domestic life is also taking a backseat. So Mercury retrograde is a wake-up call for you to analyze and to give more attention to your partner, to your ability to work with other people as well. And because it is also the 4th house which Mercury rules and getting into the 7th house in retrograde fashion, if you are not married, if you have not settled in your life so far, Mercury retrograde is telling you, stop. Have you thought about settling into a relationship? Have you thought of proposing to the person who you have been dating for some time and not thought about it? This is the right time for you to think about it. This is the right time for you to plan and to take it forward. And for some people who are thinking of buying assets, to investing in some money in some assets, especially connected to property, or buying a car, or buying some conveniences where more money is involved, rethink it before you take a decision, because there may be other options which are also available for you before you sign on the dotted line, before you make those payments. Rethink and then take those decisions. Also, rethink on how you have been treating your domestic life. Have you been contributing to the love, the peace and harmony at home, or have you been somebody who has completely ignored the harmony at home, how your house looks, have you done up your home, have you paid attention to home, have you looked at how everything is working, have you not paid attention to some repairs work at home, because that could suddenly become a sudden bigger problem, sudden challenge. You have to start looking at the repair work rather than paying attention to your work or to your relationship. Some issues may also come in where your car breaks down, some domestic appliance breaks down, a new repairs also come in, or new bills also have to be paid when which you have not thought about so far. So reanalyze your domestic life, reanalyze your relationship, spending time with your loved one, spending time at home, creating the peace, love, harmony at home, and also taking care of some of the domestic issues, domestic appliances, and re-looking at your investment also for a Pisces ascendant native. So friends, now that we have talked about how Mercury retrograde for the 12 different ascendant signs and also your moon signs may impact different areas of your life, I have focused this video more on the ascendant sign, the rising sign, not so much on the moon sign, but also from a moon sign. Do look at which house Mercury is retrograding in and which houses it rules. From that Mercury, from the moon lagna sign, also look at this video from that perspective as well. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation, reach out to me at the link given below. Until some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off.